Hello and welcome to FPL Waffle. We're heading into game week 1. The Premier League season starting tomorrow. Very much looking forward to having the Premier League back in action. And I've put together what I think is my final team leading into the game week. So without further ado, let's pop it on screen and see what I've done. So as I had in my previous draft, we've got Jordan Pickford in goal. I just think Everton defensively are so solid, right? Under Sean Dyche, they go into games primarily looking to keep clean sheets, to defend, and kind of get a goal from there. And in the whole of pre-season, they've been keeping clean sheets. You'd expect that to try and continue into the season. They've also got good fixtures to start the season. And Everton, they're not the best team in the league either. So Pickford's going to have to make saves. He's also good at saving penalties, I've heard. And if you look at the fixtures, you've got the likes of home to Fulham, you could see a clean sheet there. Home to Wolves, you could see a clean sheet there. Away to Sheffield, you can see a clean sheet there. Home to Luton, home to Bournemouth. Like, there's some good fixtures in there. And even in the ones that aren't so easy, like I said, he's going to have to make some saves. So I really like Pickford as a set and forget option for some of those reasons. Into the defence, no real prizes for guessing most of them. Estepinian is pretty locked in most people's teams. As a Brian Van can testify to the fact he's great value at 5 mil. Hopefully we'll keep some clean sheets. We've got a good few fixtures to start us off. And he just loves bombing forward. Like last season, there were points where he's almost running through as a striker to get forward, to get involved with the attacking play. And you'd have seen that against Arsenal towards the end of the season when he scored a goal from like like a left wing, left striker position. So he's a no-brainer. You've then got Luke Shaw. If you don't have a Nana in goal, he's just a decent, solid, nailed defensive coverage. He's on set pieces. I'm very happy with Shaw. And again, United start off with some good fixtures. Gabriel is, I think, the most popular Arsenal defender. In my previous draft, I had Zinchenko, but he's had a few injury concerns and fitness stuff. Like he's barely sort of played any pre-season. So Gabriel offers almost equally as much goal threat, from the likes of corners. And then he's pretty nailed in that team. So I'm more than happy with Gabriel, 5 million, very solid player. Now Saliba's also in there. You'll see why in a minute. But again, for 5 mil, he seems pretty nailed in that Arsenal team. They've got some good fixtures to open up. You'd like to think there'll be some clean sheets in there. And he has some goal threat like Gabriel does. So him and Gabriel, I'm pretty happy with in the team at the back to start the season with. Now, part of the reason for having two Arsenal defenders rather more Arsenal attacking players is because I've snuck Salah into this team. Salah, I think Liverpool are going to have a good season, to be honest. I think they're going to want to bounce back and have a good title push. Although their fixtures aren't incredible to start, like home to Bournemouth game week 2, I'm already looking at captaining him in. And you'd expect them to do well in most games anyway. They're a top quality team. We know how good Salah is on FPL. I just felt like this team hasn't been compromised too much by getting him in, and that's why I'm more than happy to justify it. The other players, Fernandes and Rashford, are both playing in a fairly attacking roles on the whole. Although Fernandes and Mount might switch a bit, Fernandes could well be on pens. He's going to play attackingly, in a lot of games, get forward, try and be involved in the play going forward. And we know what Rashford can do. And for 9 and 8.5 mil, just really good value for, again, a team with good fixtures. I touched on their fixtures earlier, but, they're decent. They are decent to start the season with. And then Saka, no brainer. I think everyone should have him, to be honest. 8.5 mil is a bargain. Great fixtures for Arsenal to start off. He's most likely still on penalties. He's a talisman. I actually am very close to captaining him game week 1, but I don't think I'll have the kahunas, so to speak. I've sort of started to do this thing where I'm like, what will I regret more? If I don't captain Saka and he does really well, or if I do captain Saka against the majority, he doesn't do so well, and then this man, Erling Haaland, smashes it. I think that's going to annoy me more. Like, I don't want to start the season already like on a big red arrow. And I want to enjoy the first match of the season against Burnley. I don't want to just be cheering against Haaland. And yeah, mate said to me yesterday, you're probably watching this. There is a chance that he could, completely destroy Burnley. Like, I'm thinking, well, away to Burnley might not be easy first game of the season. Vincent Company, that bit of that sort of Man City rivalry. Burnley, a fairly solid team. They were solid last year. They kept a lot of clean sheets, etc. But it is still a newly promoted team. It is still Man City and Erling Haaland. And it wouldn't surprise you at all if City decided to win that, 4-0 and say to Burnley, welcome to the Premier League. So I think I'm not going to risk it, particularly since I'm likely to be captaining Salah's second week with Haaland home to Newcastle. So I think let's not go crazy with the differentials. I'll go with the majority of Haaland this one. And then next week I'll probably go Salah, and that'll be my sort of differential, like early differential captaincy in the season. And that's probably sufficient, to be fair. And then João Pedro, a lot of people are hopping on him. As a Brighton fan, he's been looking great in pre-season. It looks like he's on penalties. He's got sort of, I think he got an assist alongside his couple of pens he scored. 5.5 mil, great value. He also helps to enable this team to happen. Like I said, some good fixtures to start off with. Even if after a few weeks he sort of starts to be more rotated, you can then just move him on to the likes of Jackson for Chelsea. I'm going to be looking at game week 3, kind of which Chelsea players to bring in. So he might be one I can move on anyway. But I think he works well to start the season with and enables this team, which I think looks really solid. I've got triple Arsenal. I've got Rashford, Fernandes. I've got obviously Haaland. I've got the two Brighton boys. Pickford's fine in goal. Salah's in there. The defence, mids and forwards and goalkeeper on the bench are a bit sus because of that. But I'm not too worried. Like, I think these players are all pretty much guaranteed for minutes. João Pedro is the only one, like, wouldn't surprise you like massively if he started on the bench, but he's almost guaranteed to come on, and he's going to start most games. So yeah, he's been playing in that role behind the striker, and there's no one really there at the moment unless we sign Kudos, but that hasn't gone through yet, unless it's happened when I've been recording. I think he's fairly nailed. So anyway, I'm not too worried about this bench. And also Baldock is starting games for Sheffield, so he's not the worst enabler, playing at wing back. Nakamba's pretty nailed for Luton, so you kind of got at least a 2-pointer off the bench there. Muniz for Fulham, he's low owned, so I shouldn't lose value on him. And he also played a bit in pre-season, and now Mitrovic, this whole Mitrovic saga isn't going to be wanting to play for Fulham. They've signed Jimenez, who's like maybe a bit of a gamble with his sort of injury problems recently, and he's not been the same player since that head injury. And then Vinicius, like he's not first choice for a reason, and this guy I think is quite young and could be exciting. So you never know, he might end up coming into their team. So I'm quite happy with them on the bench. And then is it Virginia, the Everton backup keeper? Like if Pickford got injured or suspended or something, he looks like second choice, just come straight in. So again, I don't have to worry about keepers. I initially had Areola, but if he misses out or something, I just think I'm happy to just have an Everton keeper. I'm more than happy with that for 4 mil as a backup keeper. So that's the team. If we look at FPL team real quick for a quick look at the kind of future fixtures. So we've looked at game week 1. Game week 2, like no problems with that. There's the Salah captaincy. Shaw away to Tottenham is the only one I look at and think I don't love it. I expect them to concede, but Tottenham are going to concede goals as well. Shaw might get an attacking threat in that. Come that week, I might fancy a transfer. Ideally, I want to stick with this team and carry 2 transfers into game week 3, and then I have the option to potentially get rid of Salah to someone and then afford some Chelsea players. I could, move out Saliba because I don't necessarily need 2 Arsenal defenders. I could be at this point be like actually Rashford and Fernandes. They've got a good fixture against Forest there, so I might sort of make 1 transfer this week and then game week 4 think, okay, away to Arsenal, like I don't need both of these guys, and that's where I can maybe get another Chelsea asset or whoever else might be informed. So I don't know. I think this team gives me a decent amount of flexibility. There is always the option to just move Salah on and have loads of money in the bank to do some stuff with potentially 2 free transfers in game week 3. So I'm looking at that. And then if Salah's smashing it, I don't want to get rid of him. Well, fine, I'll work out a plan B. There's other players I'd be happy to start thinking about moving on. Like I said, João Pedro, Saliba, maybe one of the United boys. So there's options. I'm happy with the team. I think unless there's any news or any sort of like, I don't know, real reason to change it, I kind of don't want to overthink it. And I think I'm going to stick. It's slightly different to everyone's. Like, not everyone has Salah, not everyone has Saliba and Gabriel at the double Arsenal defence. Because Martinelli isn't nailed, Trossard's in form. Like, I'm tempted by Trossard, but he's not going to start every game. But you can expect him to get some returns early in the season with the form he's in. Now Jesus is injured. Like, I don't know. There's Like Odegaard's not maybe going to be as attacking this season as he was last year. Havertz, and him might compete for points. Like Saka's really the obvious attacker for Arsenal. And then when it comes to City attackers, it's tempting with their fixtures to go there. But Grealish isn't exciting. Foden isn't nailed. De Bruyne hasn't been starting lately because of an injury thing. And Alvarez then, is always going to be a minute's risk. So Bernardo Silva, I don't even know if he's going to be staying. Like John Stones would be a defender I'm tempted by, but even he's not like entirely minutes proof. So yeah, I'm happy enough with this team. I think I'll leave the video there. But I hope that's given some food for thought to those of you that are still sort of doing some last minute tinkering from some of the things I've said. Do subscribe if you've enjoyed sort of a casual podcasty type content video. I usually try and keep these videos about 10 or so minutes, 10 to 15, or shorter if I can. So yeah, hopefully you found it helpful. Leave a like, subscribe if you'd like to. Obviously, no pressure. And I'll catch you most likely now on a Game Week 1 review and looking into Game Week 2 at some point next week. So yeah, have a good rest of your days and bye for now.